new book on the royals titled Endgame, due to hit the shelves tomorrow, but some of the claims made in the title have already been leaked. There's a surprise and are bound to wind up the Windsor household.
With claims that Prince William is power-hungry, Princess Kate is uptight, and that William is in a power struggle with his father, King Charles. Scobie's book is already hitting the headlines. Well, let's cross now to Los Angeles to speak to our showbiz and royal commentator, Kinsey Schofield. Good morning, Kinsey. What else do we know about this book?
I mean, well, in the headlines this morning, we're seeing that the girls, both Kate, the Princess of Wales, and the Duchess of Sussex, have been advised to dress like Princess Diana, which I think surprises none of us because every time you open the paper, there are comparison photos. Also, the idea that the king called Prince Harry a fool after the release of his Netflix docu-series. Omid says that at the beginning, the king didn't want anyone to say anything negative about Harry, and he really didn't want to talk about him at all. But once the Netflix series was released, he was so irate over the content that he referred to his son as a fool. You know, we're hearing that it was Princess Anne that really campaigned for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to lose their Frogmore Cottage situation after the release of Spare. So a lot of bombshells as expected.
Right. Can I just ask you, so Omid Scobie, whatever you think about this, whatever side you're on, he claims he didn't interview Meghan and Harry. Now, the problem with that as sort of a grey area is obviously in the past, he's sort of been viewed as their spokesperson, hasn't he? He's sort of been the person who's come forward and said the piece. Now, apparently, so this is off his own back, right? So why would anybody take any notice of it then if it's not coming from a source that's reliable?
Do you know what royal biographers do?
Well, I think that the reason that that's really in question right now is because in that case that Meghan had against the Mail, we saw these emails between Jason Kanoff and Harry and Meghan, where Harry and Meghan said that they did want to participate in Finding Freedom after Harry, Meghan, and Omid denied that they participated in it, and then Meghan had to apologize to the court. So that is really why you're seeing a lot of people cynical about this. But also for Omid to claim in his book that Prince William briefs the press, when I'm very confident that Prince William personally does not brief the press. Whether there's a third party involved, probably. Everybody does it. But for him to say that Prince William is briefing the press on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but then say, no, I don't talk to Meghan, but we do have friends in common. I mean, it's the same thing. Then Meghan's hands are on it, if that's the case. The same way that you would say Prince William's fingerprints are on this. And I've had several people reach out to me and say, why is he doing this? It seems like very mean-spirited. It seems ugly. And I think at the end of the day, he's got nothing to lose. He says himself that Prince William has blocked him from covering the royals and having access to the real royal family at this point in time. So he's gone through several jobs.
What? Would he be surprised by that?
Right. Yeah, it's called Consequences.
Yeah.
But he's gone through several jobs since Harry and Meghan went to America. And I think he's got nothing to lose. And so because he has no access to the royals anymore, he's going to put it all on the table. He's going to say, here's everything I've ever heard, because he's got to make a living.
And what do you say about these allegations that Kate, Princess Catherine, is uptight and no fun, and she had to be coerced into appearing on Blue Peter a few years ago?
Anybody would have to be coerced to be on Blue Peter, to be fair.
I mean, I would describe myself as uptight and no fun. So to me, I hear that and I say, oh my God, let's watch Hallmark together. It's a girls' night in. I don't think that there's anything offensive about that, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to have a glass of champagne either, because I'd rather crawl in bed at 9 p.m. I think that motherhood changes you. We saw Kate the party girl, and that's not who she is anymore. She's not crawling out of bars and crawling into taxis anymore. She's snuggling up with her kids, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I said this last week, and it really is how I see the whole thing. I've mentioned it many times. My old man worked for the royal family, and I remember him, Kinsey, saying that every single member of the royal family, after the Queen Mother died, has systematically, not the Queen, used the press for their own benefits. And you made the point then that if it's not one of them, it'll be somebody, it'll be a third party. My issue is a bigger issue, or my question is a bigger question. this tittle-tattle, this point scoring, this rubbish, whether Omid Scobie spoke to them or not, we're sitting on this programme talking about it because people are fascinated, which just fuels the fire. What's this going to do to the monarchy, Kins? This is my thing in the long run, because I suspect most people are like, whatever, you fell out with your father, you live in America, your father's not happy, we've all got stuff going on in our lives, there's a war going on. It's difficult, isn't it, when there are so many things in the world? Doesn't this just trivialise the royal family in its entirety, sadly?
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it looks more like a soap opera. And
Yep.
if you live for that kind of content, you know, it reminds me of the author Kitty Kelly. She wrote a lot of, you know, kind of petty things in her books about the British royal family. And if you grabbed those tabloids at the grocery store, then that was the perfect book for you. And I think Omid has developed a very specific audience. He knows what they want and he knows what they like. And he's written this book for them.
This is going to be, it's out tomorrow, isn't it?
It is indeed. And I think it's really interesting because Omid has been, you know, often a very solitary voice in the royal commentator kind of circuit and certainly the royal biographer circuit. So I think that voice is needed out there to be supportive of Harry and Meghan when so much of the speculation and so much of the commentary tends to go the other way. I think it's healthy to have somebody on both sides.
No, I mean, I think that it's healthy to have both sides too, as long as you're honest and you express maybe the opposite side. And it seems like he's pretty one-sided too. I mean, I am critical of Harry and Meghan, but I also get destroyed on the internet whenever I take up for them because I do feel like they don't always deserve it. But I think that he has been very careful in who he speaks to media-wise as well, because he doesn't want to be challenged. And that's not fair. If you're going to put all of this out there, if you're going to accuse an additional person of being racist, you should sit in front of a serious journalist and you should have a conversation and answer some tough questions about
Could not
what
agree
you're
more.
accusing people of.
Could not.